Even the dog gets in on the ASMR. But can you believe how close it is to Christmas already? It's crazy how fast the year's gone by. For today's video, I thought that I would do some random weird stories from when I was growing up. That and like maybe some work stories, just, stuff like that. And these are like no particular topic, just like odd stuff. Like, here's one. So, in elementary school, I was in a small town. Everyone knew each other, right? There was only maybe like 150 students in the whole school. And like, that was from grades kindergarten to 8, so yeah, it was pretty tiny. Almost like a village, if anything. But for the most part, I would go home at lunch because I was able to walk from the school to my house, and it was only like a block away. For a little bit though, and on rare occasions, I would get made a lunch and I'd be able to eat at school. So one day, I'm just chilling in school. I'm like, yes, I get to hang out with my friends at lunch. We get to spend some extra time together, talk about stuff. This is gonna be great. So there's this one girl who I didn't particularly get along with, but I believe they used assigned seating back then too. So because my friend and I had a name close to each other, we were within seating distance. But across from me was this girl who I didn't really get along with. Looking back on it now, I mean, she was fine, but back then we just, for whatever reason, didn't get along. So I'm eating my bologna sandwich, and there's like this butter in it. So for some reason I had like a butter bologna sandwich. And maybe to you that sounds good, I don't know, but something about that texture just is off-putting. So I'm sitting there eating, and my friend starts talking about horror movies and like gory movie scenes and stuff. And all of a sudden, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And so I'm like looking around, I start getting pale-faced, and it was like that scene in Alien vs. Predator where the guy's like, it mustn't reach the surface. Well, unfortunately, I threw up, and yeah, I can't believe that happened. I threw up on the table. It was not good. It was not good. She was like, and she gets up and runs away. And I mean, yeah, perhaps that's why I wasn't the most popular in elementary school. But I mean, you never know. Back then, that was the days of like new metal and like Linkin Park and all that. Like early 2000s stuff. I'll be real with you, I didn't have any friends back then in elementary school. If you can relate to me, my condolences. But I get what you're talking about. But no, I mean, then there was a time, I don't think I told this story before, but so I used to work at a place called Arby's way back when I was like 15, 16. And anyone who's worked fast food, let me tell you, it is not fun. Not fun. Very repetitive. You have to like go in the back, and they like have, so at Arby's they have like these big slabs of like beef that's cut and like pre-cooked and then frozen, and you have to take it out of the freezer, put it in like a sink of hot water and let it thaw. And then after it's thawed for a while, because it's vacuum sealed kind of, you have to cut it open and take this slab out and bring it up and put it in this huge meat slicer, and you gotta slice the meat however thick they want it. So if they want the thick burger, which is not a burger, the thick meat, which sounds even more sus, then you have to basically adjust it accordingly and fiddle with it, and it's all this stuff. And I remember, for one short thing, I could not fries they have were just like curly fries, but they put like green onions and bacon and like sour cream and like a cheese sauce, kind of like that nacho stuff you get at 7-Eleven. You know, they have like the pump one and you can pump it onto the nachos. Well, they had something like that here at Arby's, and that's what we called the loaded curly fly. Ew. The loaded curly fry. Oh god, I'm gonna digress again, but okay, well, this is Arby's related. I'm sorry, these stories keep coming back to me. I'll get back to the working at Arby's thing, but I got Arby's as a kid one time. And like, they had a promotion at the time for like this Mario Kart Game Boy Advance game. And I was so excited because you got like a little fake one that you could like wind up on the sides and then it would move your guy like you had a Mario. It was like a static background, but you could drive, quote unquote, him through like the track and avoid obstacles. And I was like, nice, I wanted one of these so bad because my friend had one. I had like one friend. But anyways, he had one and I had one. And I go to eat my beef and cheddar. And like, the minute I open it up, a fruit fly flies in the car and dies on my burger. And I was like, come on, man. So I only ate half the burger and like left the part as his doom. But back to working at Arby's. So getting the hang of the slicing of the roast beef was one thing, but I could not so like, you put the burger or the sandwich or whatever you want to call it in the center of the paper. The paper's there, burger goes in the center of the paper. Now they have a specific way they want you to wrap it, so it's like one side up, next side, then you gotta like tuck the sides in so it's like a envelope or something, and then you gotta flip it, and it's like, what? Like, because there's no like sticker or anything they can put on to keep it sealed, so it just keeps opening up. And I was doing it and trying to do it, and my coworker's getting pissed at me because he's like, why can't you do this? It's not hard. And it's like, bro, I don't know, he was like 24. He's getting mad at me. To be fair, I do suck at fast food jobs and folding. You should see how I fold Christmas presents. But anyways, yeah, like the guy would get pissed at me, and I hated that. I hated that job. But at one point, so I was 15, this girl gets hired. She was like 20, 21, maybe 22. She was in her 20s anyway. Somehow we started flirting with each other, and eventually I make a like 2-hour-long bike ride in, because I was in that tiny town. I had to bike ride to the city. So I bike ride, and I finally get there. It's in the hood. And like basically the whole city is, except for like the rich parts, are kind of hood, but it was the hoodie hood, you know what I mean, like hood squared, and well, as hood as you can get in Canada. Anyways, yeah, we had to actually look before we cross the street. That's as dangerous as it gets. No, people actually die, but not in this story, anyways, I digress. So I go over, I'm walking my bike, I meet up with her, we hang out, whatever. We start talking about music and stuff, and she's like, oh wait, you listen to metal? I thought you listened to rap. And then she stopped liking me, because I listened to metal back then. Now I listen to like all sorts of music. Back then it was mostly metal, but yeah, I mean, I listened to Insane Clown Posse when I was a kid. I don't think that would have impressed anybody, except for juggalos, but yeah, so we go over to this kind of like old, it was like a house in the hood, right? Like it was kind of falling apart a bit, you know. We go on the back deck and I hear this moaning, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, what's going on? Like, is someone hurt or something? And the moaning keeps going, and I'm like, oh no. And she's like, yeah, that's just my grandfather. I live with him. He's listening to Cornhub. And I was like, what? But yes, this guy had the door open, and he was listening to or something. Like, this is concerning. He shouldn't be doing that. Like, I feel like you could get like a noise complaint or something, and like, what if there's kids around and hear that crap? But I guess that's just normal. I don't know. It's a lot of weird stuff like that. Like, I grew up also, so I lived adjacent to a trailer park, and I would get babysat by people who lived in like the trailer park. So I'd go down there and hang out, and we'd play like PS2 games and stuff. It's kind of creepy actually, because we just hang out on this guy's bed. But anyways, the one time he called his sister a hooker, and I was like, hooker, hooker, and I kept on saying it, and they're like, stop saying that. And I was like, what do you mean, why? What's wrong? What is hooker? And they're like, hooker means someone who swears a lot. And so then I went to school and started calling people hooker. Yeah, that went bad. I feel like a hooker, I mean, if you were gonna use it as a term for someone who swore a lot, a hooker would be like a good term for like an angry sea captain who had a hook for a hand. Arr, it's me, it be me, the hooker. I hook and I swear a lot because I lost my hand and I work on a boat. And it's like deadliest catch. Arr, and it sucks. I'd like to rent something in California and just chill there. But instead I'm on this boat. I don't make enough money. Arr, I'm a hooker kind of thing. At least that's the only way I can rationalize hooker being a term for someone who swears a lot. But if we go by those rules, then I guess that makes sense. I was kind of a dumb kid. Like, I told the story about how I ate raw bacon. I told the story about how I ate what I thought was going to be pink icing, but it was actually like pureed meat, which was disgusting. I don't know. When I was a kid, I used to like try to breathe in bath water, and like I think I dang near drowned myself doing that. Like I was. So I would like sit there with like the water here, and I would just breathe in the water. And one time I thought I was gonna throw up, so I leaned forward, and like it felt like I was throwing up, but it was nothing but water, and then I felt fine. And it's like, where were my parents? But like there was so many dumb stories like that. Like, I think I've told this one before, but I'll tell it again in case you didn't hear it before. Because I don't even remember when I said it, but so I only had one friend, and sometimes we'd argue. Keep in mind, now, I haven't spoken to him in a while. I hope he's doing well. But I've known this guy for like 26, almost 30 years, 26 years, met him in 2000. And so, you know, we had a friendship. Sometimes could be rocky. Most of the time was normal. We go down to this little like outdoor skate. It was like a skate park. Because again, it was a small town, and my friend was getting babysat by my stepmother at this time. And so we go down to this little skate park, and there's this group of older kids. They were like skaters, I guess, which, side note, when did skater become synonymous with rich kid? Like, I thought skaters were supposed to be like kind of outsiders, the same with punk, but like you have to have so much money to buy this clothing, like these brands, that it's like, I don't know, it's basically like an alt Walmart. Anyway, there's these like 4 or 5 kids. So me and my friend are going there walking around, but we're having kind of an off day, an argument day. The kids surround us, and they're like, hey, you guys better fight. And I was like, fight? Why would we fight? But my friend, he was not having it that day. He was mad. And so they come closer. They surround us. We're surrounded on all sides. And they're like, you better fight. I'm like, well, you're not going to lay a hand on us if we don't fight, right? They're like, we'll lay a hand on you if you don't fight now. And I was like, what gives? And they start insulting my clothing. Meanwhile, this is like a 10-year-old, and these guys are like 15, 16, insulting a 10-year-old's clothing. It's like, come off it. But they insulted me. They're like, look at you. You got your Walmart shirt, Walmart pants, Walmart shoes. I'm like, buddy, these aren't Walmart shoes. These are bum shoes. And they started laughing. And I'll be honest, that is kind of funny. And believe it or not, Walmart's, the name of their shoes, one of their brands, was Bum shoes. But yeah, I got roasted for my bum shoes that day. Just beat up a bum to get his shoes, I don't know. And here's a weird one. So when I was in elementary school, back to that, there was this dude I kind of knew peripherally. There was another dude I saw following him as he was walking across the street. So I look at the guy, I'm like, hey, you know that dude's following you? And he's like, huh? Who? And I point to the guy, and he's like, that's my brother. And then 5 seconds later, the brother comes and punches me in the face. Like, these people were out of their gourd. Seriously. Their gourds had ascended. They were no longer within the confines of their gourd prison. But I guess that's what happens when you grow up in like a weird one-horse town. I don't know. Probably like 5 horses, given the fact there were like maybe 1,000 people back then. A relatively decent number of horses. Nothing amazing though. Nothing. I can't think of a horse, but the horoscope. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Because like when I was a kid, it was weird. I mostly kept to myself, except for sometimes I would hang out with like I said, my one friend. Then later on in about 8th grade, I got like a couple more friends. But I don't know, like, do you ever feel like you are the friend who's like the third wheel all the time, and they just kind of bring you there because they feel bad for you or something? I don't know if it was true or what, but that's kind of how I felt back then. And if anyone else feels that way, you know, again, I sympathize. Believe me, I've been there. But there can be some benefits to being an introvert, I suppose. Like, if you like reading or studying up on things, hey, you got a lot of time to do it when you're younger. But I will say, sometimes it can be more fun with friends, elementary school anyway. It just kind of sucks that a lot of the time they leave as you get older. But I wanted to have something you could throw on a bit in the background and hopefully maybe laugh a bit too and get a little bit of a rest. So, I'll see you tomorrow. And also, now this is the most important part. I want to thank you all for coming, and first and foremost, I'll thank the channel members. So thank you for Last Diet Coke on the Island, Bruno, David, and Marvin. Now, for Last Diet Coke on the Island, I haven't ever seen comments from you, but I'm not sure if you prefer Last Diet Coke on the Island or Trid. If you have any preference, let me know. I appreciate you, and I'll read out your name as you'd prefer it. But seriously, it means a lot that people like these videos enough to become members. I'm working on a good amount. I might have a new camera set up I can use for some videos. I was able to get a Canon camera that I can borrow from my girlfriend. So it's like one of the higher end ones. If I can get it to somehow connect to the audio from the Blue Yeti, then I might be able to use that because I have an idea for a video that I think is pretty cool. And I'm gonna try and use my iPhone for more videos too, because, I mean, it's pretty good. I believe it's like, I think it's an iPhone 12 or something. A little bit older, but I like it, you know. It works. The only crappy thing is there's some games that I wanted to play for the channel, but it doesn't run on the iOS us anymore. At any rate, I want you to have a wonderful day, night, or anything in between. Even things that do not exist on this plane of existence. But I'll see you soon.